Hey everybody, this is Keeping It Real with Dr. Lil, and I'm here today to talk about Demoree Hadley. She is the daughter of Desiree Perez. Desiree Perez, as you know, is the CEO of Roc Nation, and Roc Nation, of course, is owned or partially owned by Sean Carter or Jay-Z. I became aware of some of the information her own daughter, Demoree, has filed a case, if you will, a lawsuit against her own mother, stating that she was improperly or illegally institutionalized for a mental, what do they call it, mental, whatever you want to call it, mental inabilities by her mother for 2 weeks. 2 whole weeks. There was doctors, there was probably police, there was people involved, court people that all kind of looked like they were going down the road or supporting something that appeared to be completely false. You heard it. And here we were going through similar stuff, not quite that, but somebody using the system for falsehoods so close to home. And it just so happens that Desiree Perez lives in New Jersey, where one of my properties were when we had circumstances and situations of people coming to the property and then strange things happening, everybody. So I wanted to play this clip from Demoree Hadley, as she has have a lawsuit filed, against her mother and others regarding something I just mentioned, which we know is horrific. And I'm showing this because we went through what would seem to be a coordinated effort of the system of people who wanted to say lies and things about our case and allegations. And it wasn't about a baby daddy, everybody. It was about due process and getting what we supposed to get in a court of law. And if that's not going to happen, then what's the problem? If you don't have jurisdiction, then just tell the persons you don't have jurisdiction. Then that everything's over. But at the end of the day, that's not what happened. There was a coordinated effort for the judges, the attorneys, and the client to go through a process to make it look and appear that it was legitimate, but it wasn't. Similar information. And here we are all these years later. The reason why is because a lot of this led to illegal liens on my property, but I was going to fight it anyway. But now I'm really going to fight it because you're not going to go around doing what you think you can do and use the system. But the whole point, I'm not going to go on a tangent on that. The whole point, everybody, is that here this young lady, a daughter of a woman who's working with somebody who we understand to be true, that had some issues in the same area because we have the same allegations, similar. Here we are, everybody. So I'm going to play this tape so you all can see what we saw, hear what we heard in regard to Desiree Perez's daughter saying that her own mother, her own daughter said about her daughter, Demoree Hadley, I'm going to get it right, said about Desiree Perez, her mother, who works for Roc Nation, that her mother was a part of an illegal act of getting her into an institution for 2 weeks because she didn't want her to be with this person she was going to marry or somebody she's already married to. I mean, really very drastic measures to do what you want somebody to do. I mean, you might have to let people live their life. You might. And according to her, and there was nothing in her system to show up drugs at all, that there seems to be some hanky-panky going on. But let's play the clip, everybody. I want to play the clip so y'all can hear what I heard and see what I saw. Because it wasn't good, everybody. I'm going to see if I can put this on optimizing the sound. And we're going to just play what we see here with her.
A South Florida woman is taking legal action after she says she spent nearly 2 weeks in mental health institutions for no legitimate reason.
She claims in a recently filed lawsuit that it was orchestrated by her own mother, and others who should have protected her failed her.
NBC6 investigative reporter Amy Viteri has her story.
So legally, I can go home.
No, you cannot.
Why?
Because you're being Baker acted.
Body camera video shows the moments Broward deputies encouraged Demoree Hadley to get into this pickup truck with people she says she didn't know.
I can't ride with you and you guys take me?
You're going to be in handcuffs, so dog's not going to be able to come?
I don't want to be handcuffed.
Okay.
Demoree says they took her to a hospital for a mental health evaluation after this doctor signed paperwork saying she was a risk to herself.
What he told me was, we received a call from your family that you tried to OD the night before.
A doctor she says she'd never met before. And according to Demoree, it's her own mother who's behind it. In this lawsuit, she claims her mother, Desiree Perez, used unlawful means to have Demoree falsely detained under Florida's Baker Act and Marchman Act.
So she's the CEO of Roc Nation, a company that she owns along with Sean Carter, the famous rapper Jay-Z.
The complaint alleges a conspiracy, saying Perez used her money, power, and influence to tear apart Demoree and her husband, Javon Hadley, and created an enterprise of individuals to effectuate her plot.
To essentially try to separate me from my husband and to falsely accuse him of domestic violence.
Perez has repeatedly denied these allegations in court filings. A month before Demoree filed her complaint, we found her mother filed her own lawsuit against Demoree's husband, Javon. Citing evidence, Perez says he has abused her daughter for years, something the couple has denied in court records. In that lawsuit, Desiree Perez says she moved to Baker Act her daughter, fearing she was at risk of suicide and abusing prescription drugs.
I haven't seen anything in my entire 20 years of practicing law that it is so clear that someone did something wrong.
Attorney Hilton Napoleon is representing Demoree in the lawsuit, which claims Perez harassed the couple for years, including making unfounded claims to get Javon arrested on multiple occasions for battery and domestic violence, charges prosecutors did not pursue.
The state attorney's office wrote a 11-page scathing closeout memoranda, which basically said that her mother made false allegations to the police.
In this closeout memo, a prosecutor with the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office cites Demoree's lack of cooperation and raises concerns about some of the evidence and how it was obtained. The prosecutor also wrote Demoree was wrongfully Baker Acted last year, something her mother's attorney disputes in this letter challenging many of the memo's other conclusions.
I have 3 different collateral sources of information that say that she's been acting psychotic, that she threatened to overdose yesterday.
Demoree's lawsuit alleges her mother conspired with prominent psychiatrist Dr. Daniel Bober, seen here in body camera video, and others to have Demoree committed for a mental health evaluation. Bober cites supporting evidence from her family and diagnosed Demoree with an unspecified psychosis. He ordered she be taken to Memorial Regional Hospital, where he is chief of psychiatry, and where results from drug tests taken upon admission were negative, according to records Demoree shared with us.
They told me your tox screens came out negative, and I go, I know. I don't do drugs.
In a statement, Dr. Bober's attorney said Demoree was placed under the Baker Act for 38 hours due to the potential risk of imminent harm she posed to herself, adding failing to take appropriate action would have been a breach of Dr. Bober's ethical and professional obligations. While Demoree was at Memorial, her mother further petitioned to have her transported to a different facility under Florida's Marchman Act, claiming again in court records that Demoree suffered from severe drug abuse. A judge granted that petition.
They ran the test. They knew that she had no drugs in her system and she was not abusing drugs. And the fact that you can't do anything about it is scary.
Demoree was sent to this treatment center in Deerfield Beach, where Dr. Bober serves as medical director.
Where are the people that are supposed to protect me from this happening?
According to her lawsuit, Demoree requested a hair follicle test at that facility called Life Skills, which detects drug use for at least the past 3 months, and which showed no drugs had been in Demoree. Demoree was held at Life Skills until April 8th. She shared discharge paperwork that lists a diagnosis of persistent depressive disorder, which she disputes. No medication was prescribed. Court records show Demoree was able to leave that day after her mother voluntarily dismissed the case. But Demoree says the damage has been done, and she feels a system designed to keep people safe failed to protect her.
Money, influence, and power should not be something that's used, right, or abused to hurt innocent people.
Perez has filed a motion to dismiss Demoree's complaint, asserting that the Baker Act and other legal proceedings she has undertaken were rooted in legitimate concern for her daughter's safety.
The Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office tells us they stand by their memo. Memorial Healthcare says they can't speak about Demoree's case because of the pending lawsuit. We also contacted Life Skills South Florida and have not yet heard back. BSO told us the incident involving Demoree is now internally under review. Amy Viteri, NBC6 News.
I don't think
You like saving money?
say anything about that because it's just a thing where they're not going to do anything about it, everybody, because of corruption. Did you hear what she said? She said the system was supposed to be there to protect her. The acts that the mother used, this Baker Act and so forth and so on, were put in place for people who might have really legitimate claims. If she was doing drugs and talking psychotic and suicidal, why was no drugs in her system? So you're saying things, but you're lying and backing it up with just paying people off. This is what we went through. This is what the state of New Jersey and our belief went through. And this is all the way up to the district court. District court, everybody. So at the end of the day, somebody's getting paid. Something's going on, because if it's not adding up, it's not adding up. If it appears to be fraud, if it appears to be something that's untruthful, and there's no evidence to prove that it is otherwise, then what's the problem? In our case, the judges were saying from day one, they had no jurisdiction of the case. If you had no jurisdiction, then you had no authority or power over the case right from the beginning. Although things could have changed throughout the years, it did not, according to you. And because of that, you had no power to even hear the case. So therefore, why was decisions made? Why was illegal sanctions given to attorneys' allegations where no proof involved and never occurred, even if they wanted to believe it? There was no proof. You had fraud on multiple levels that occurred. Yeah, this is a problem, everybody, and we're going to continue to talk about it until something's done. You have illegitimate things that are happening because somebody's trying to cover up. You have attorneys trying to figure out the law, use the law against a person, colluding with a judge to do it, and then coming back with so-called orders to carry it out with no proof, just like in her case. And here you have the same type of people. Her mother, Desiree Perez, a part of Roc Nation, a part of Jay-Z's whole arena, and how we got caught up in that arena of situations. And the reason why they probably didn't go as far, because they were being exposed. They knew some people who were watching. And the biggest problem was Wanda's age. She was an underage girl who she said in her allegations, her affidavit, that she had a relationship with an older man, and his name was Sean Carter. That's what she said. In fact, she didn't say Sean Carter. She said Roc, everybody, in her affidavit. That's what Wanda said. Nonetheless, like I tell people, whether it was a baby or not a baby, she still said she had a relationship with an older man. So that's what they're really trying to cover up. And instead of the state of New Jersey trying to do what's right when they became aware that a minor young lady had a relationship, then we could have been able to deal with this, if you will.